Hi, my name is Anna, and today I will tell you how to create a Gantt chart. A Gantt chart is part of the Empower Charts add-in. The Gantt chart of Empower Chart can be found in the Empower ribbon or under the Insert button of PowerPoint. In order to insert the Gantt chart, you can either click in the placeholder you want to insert the Gantt chart in, or if you do not have a placeholder, you can simply click on the Gantt chart and drag and drop basically the Gantt chart in your presentation. But in our case, we want to insert the Gantt chart in our placeholder. This is what we're going to do now, and you will see the Gantt chart is created. On the left-hand side, you find the phases and rows. On the top, you have the time frame of the Gantt chart. And in the first step, you probably want to change the time where your project plan or your plan in general will take place. So you can click here at the top ribbon on the time, and then you have the option here to change the data. So my Gantt chart will start Monday next week, and it will end, let's say in the, let's leave it at the 28th of February. On the right-hand side, you will find a few settings. So if you want to change the recommended settings, you can do so and choose, for example, the quarter as well, leave out the months and just have the week if you wish. And let's just use it as is now and insert this into your presentation. Empower Charts will now ask you if you want to move all the Gantt elements to the current chosen time frame, and this is what we're going to do. And you will see they will be moved, and now you can start creating your actual Gantt chart. Every phase and every row has a few settings. So in each phase, you can decide if you want to have, for example, the arrow that is here displayed, and you can choose to color the whole phase. And if you do so, you can, for example, choose from a prepared color pattern, which is, of course, according to your CD. So let's just use the light blue in this case, and you can recolor your phase. Then you have the option here to customize the separator line. So let's have it in a red, just to show you. And you can as well decide how thick this line should be. So this is how you can customize your phase. And in our case, we do not want to have a line. We just, I just want to show you what options you have with the phase. Then you see here in the phase, you have the time frame that this phase belongs to, and you of course can change that. You can change the height of the phase, or not the phase itself, but the text, and change the text as well. The phase always depends on the row that we see here below. So once we've renamed our phase to maybe start, then we can go ahead and change the row accordingly. So let's say the first is the kickoff, and this kickoff will only last the coming week. So I'll just simply change it by dragging this data. You can as well change the data here in the calendar section. You have the option here to recolor your row as well, as you could have done it with the above phase. And what you can do as well here, you can give it a different look. Then what we find here as well in the Gantt chart, we have certain milestones here at the end of every phase. These milestones can be changed as well, so they can be dragged and dropped in your Gantt chart freely as you want, and they as well can be customized, so you can color them differently and you can move them around, not only by dragging and dropping it, but you can move it to a certain date if you wish. All these phases and rows have different settings, as I already mentioned. The row itself, you have the option here to add certain elements. You can add a task here, and you can add the milestone directly from the task. At any point in the Gantt, you have the option to right-click and add those tasks and milestones as well. You can as well add other elements to your Gantt chart. via this adding option here at the top. You have the option to add holidays to your Gantt. And in this case, we have the German holidays here. We're gonna look at the North Rhine-Westphalian holidays, and the next upcoming holidays are the Christmas holidays. I'll simply click on them and I can insert them as well. What you can do is you can add your personal holidays, and then you have the option to insert them as well. So we take the Christmas holiday here and insert them. What we see is here they are inserted in the current Gantt. We have the German naming here because it has been customized this way, but this can be totally different if you want. And what we can as well do here with the with this Christmas holiday, we can move it, or we can color it differently again. So we'll give it a little orange shading here. What we can as well do via the adding option is to add a dateline. This can be moved to any point that we wish. We can as well click on the calendar function here and move it to a certain date. This can be very helpful if we want to mark a certain date for a presentation, for example, or for our next best practice series. We can change the name here from the date. So for example, we could call it best practice. So our date here is now the best practice time. The next thing that we can add into our Gantt is the option to add a highlight. We can highlight any point or any time frame in our Gantt chart, and we can as well, as we can with the other options here, just move it around by simply moving this. We can rename it, and as well we can recolor it. We can either use this dragging option to shorten or lengthen our highlight, and we can as well change the data here. The last option that we have that we can add in is a delay. The delay is the option that we move our Gantt chart according to the delay that we're gonna have. So probably in the Christmas holidays, there won't be much which can be finalized. So what we could do is we can say that during the Christmas holidays, there will be a delay. So in between that time, we're gonna insert the delay, and then our whole time frame or our whole Gantt chart will be moved accordingly. So at the moment, this is the delay that we see. What we can do here is with the delay, we can choose to not show it. This would be if we want to hide it. With the delay, of course, we can recolor it as we did already with all the other options that we have when adding content. So all of what I just did can be done via the adding option here at the top. And if you make a right click somewhere in your Gantt chart, you have the option here to add certain elements as well. At the final option, what you have here is in the properties, you can change a few settings. You can change the height of the bars and the row size, the row font size, sorry. And a very good option here, if you want to reuse your Gantt, is that you use the generic mode. This is the option here that if we click on the generic mode, that we do not have a certain time frame. So we don't have December and January anymore, but we do have dates. So you can create your generic project plan and you can reuse it at any point in time again. We have here the option to show the phases and show the phases summaries, or we can have a notes area, which I will activate, and it shows here on the right-hand side. And you have the option to add colleagues to a task, and that way they are informed as well who will need to do what. You can, of course, rename the notes area as well. So let's say this is the task area, and thus we can add responsibilities to each task. In the properties as well, you have the altering. You can decide if you want to have the default altering or no altering. which is displayed here in the rows. So the gray highlights are gone in this case. What we can as well do is we can switch into the manual editing mode. This is the option if you want to be freely and move all these tasks or best practice or the Dateline, for example, you want to move this freely, then you can swap into the manual editing mode. But please be aware that if you do so and you change tasks or move things around, that when you return back into the normal mode, that some format changes can be lost. So please be aware, only do that at the very end of the creation of your Gantt chart. Thank you very much for listening, and I hope you enjoyed. And if you have any questions, please refer to the email address that you see here, empower@madeinoffice.com.